Hey guys, it's your main man Mike from EAKCrewProductions. Excuse me if I sound a little hoarse. I am pretty sick. So, I wanted to bring you a video though. So, we're going to be talking about the different effects in Yu-Gi-Oh! We're going to be talking about trigger effects, continuous effect, ignition effects, quick effects, flip effects, and condition summoning, which is really not an effect. But we're going to talk about it anyways. So, let's get into it. And this is going to be under pro moves. First, we've got Tour Guide from the Underworld. So that's a trigger effect. The part about it that is a trigger effect is that when this card is normal summoned, you can special summon one level 3 Fiend type monster from your hand or deck. So that's the trigger. How you know it's a trigger is pretty much because it says when. Pretty much all trigger effects are going to say when, do something, blah blah blah. You know, like a Caius is when it's normal summoned. You're gonna banish a card. A gadget is when it's summoned, it's gonna search for another gadget. A pike is when it's summoned, normal summoned or special summoned. It can discard a card to search for a card. A Zen Mains is if it was attempted to be destroyed that turn. During the end phase, you can pop a card. So that's triggered effects. Let's move on to continuous effects. So for continuous effects, we have Bountiful Artemis. Each time a counter trap card resolves immediately, draw one card during the chain. So this one is continuous, and this one I chose because it really captures the speed of a continuous card. So continuous cards don't have spell speeds. They just don't. They're just constantly active. So that's why, even though Bountiful Artemis is is using its effect after a counter trap card, that's perfectly fine because it doesn't actually have a speed. It's always. Alright, and then we have Dark Arm Dragon, which has a condition summon, but we're not going to go over that. We're going to go over its ignition effect, which is you can banish one dark monster from your graveyard to target one card on the field. So an ignition effect is pretty much something that you activate. A lot of the times they say once per turn you can do this, but ignition effects are effects that you can only activate on your turn. And they're effects that, they're not continuous, they're not triggered. They're not triggered by something. They're just, you go, okay, I want to use this effect now on my turn. Alright. Past that, we have Inishi, which has a quick effect, which is during either player's turn, you can banish 2/6 Samurais to bounce a monster. So, quick effects are things that can happen on your turn or your opponent's turn. There's spell speed 2. Oh, by the way, ignition effects is spell speed 1. Alright. Let's go to Raiko. My friend Alex is messaging me. Alright, Raiko, Lightsworn Hunter. Let me... Alright. Alright, Raiko, Lightsworn Hunter. So, why is Raiko good? Well, that's not what we're talking about. Well, what Raiko is he's a flip effect. So flip effects are, as you can see, they say flip on them. They're effects that happen when you either flip the monster face up through a summon, or your opponent attacks into it, or there is an effect that goes off on the board that flips the monster face up. Anytime the monster goes from face down to face up, the flip effect is going off unless a card specifically says flip effects are not activated at this time. So that's a flip effect. And lastly, we have condition summons. So, a condition summon would be like one like BLS. Pretty much, you have to meet some kind of requirement to be able to summon it. For BLS, it's banishing a light and a dark. Condition summoning also does not start a chain, by the way. Just so you know that. Anyways, so another example would be Dark Arm Dragon. His condition summoning would be that there has to be 3 darks in the graveyard, and another example of condition summoning is Grapha, which is bouncing a Dark World monster to your hand. They all have these restrictions, these things that have to be fulfilled for them to be able to summon themselves. However, conditions can be more than just condition summonings. They can also be things like not Junk Warrior, but Junk Synchron. So his condition is that if you want to use him for a synchro, you have to go into a junk synchron, or a junk synchro, and that's his condition. That's his restriction. Same with not Fall Troll, but Bogart Knight for X-Saber Bogart Knight. If you first he has a trigger effect, which is when he's normal summon, you can special summon another X-Saber, and then he has this condition, which is if you want to use him for synchro, it has to be for an X-Saber monster. Anyways, I hope that gives you guys some clarity on effects. It's your main man Mike from EAKCrewProductions. I'm gonna go lie down. Subscribe. Peace.